Oh my gosh! Oh my god, everybody is here? Why is the whole neighborhood? Just kidding. Happy Pride, everybody, and welcome to your friendly neighborhood comic show. I am your very bi host, Lauren, and today we are talking pride, obviously. On the show here, there's always a lot of pride, a lot of gay, because I run the show. Sorry to everybody. But we also always keep hope, give help, and share comics with all. This is our 13th episode. And like I said, happy Pride, guys. We should be doing this every single month, honestly. But it's nice to have an extra special time of year to talk this stuff, right? We've got a ton of stuff today. We've got two guests coming on. We've got Joe from Joe Loves Comics. He writes for the Wednesday Poll and the GWW, all this great stuff. He's amazing. We collab all the time. This is my first time meeting him actually face to face. So this is so exciting. And then we've also got JJ Hodges coming on from the Comic Junkie podcast. So that's going to be super exciting. We've got lots of games to play, lots of things to talk about. Quick reminder, as usual, we are having a giveaway at 100 subscribers. We are currently at 79. So we're about 21, right? I can math. I'm gay. I can't math. But we're 21 subscribers away from the 100 subscribers giveaway. We've got the Spider-Man comics to give away. We've got the indie comics to give away. These comics are just sitting here, burning up space. I mean, somebody needs these comics, and it's not me because I want to give them to somebody. So be sure, if you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, all that crazy, cheesy stuff, but super important. Be sure to tell your friends. Again, all they have to do is subscribe, and they're automatically, getting us closer to winning those books and sharing those. Chase is in the chat. He is driving. He's already checked in with me. Chase, your attendance is marked. You are safe. What's up, Eric? Good to see you today. I'm really excited to be up with the neighborhood today. JJ might be a little late today. So without further ado, we're just going to get started. We're just going to go ahead and do our neighborhood check-in and see how everybody's doing today. All righty. So you guys know him as Joe Loves Comics on Twitter, Instagram as well, if you follow him there. But please welcome my good friend Joe, who is a writer for the Wednesday Poll and the GWW. How are you, Joe?
Hey, how
I'm
you
so glad
doing?
you made it. It's been like
Yeah,
80 years, and I still have this the first time I'm seeing your face.
I know it's fun. This has been going for like 3 months, and so it's fun to finally get on here. And after all, we write
Yeah. And
for
how long have
blog
we
and
been
everything.
writing articles together? At least 6 months, if not longer.
Long time.
It's been a while. I would say, is the sound dipping? It's okay if it's dipping. If you need to pop back in, Joe, just go ahead and pop
It's a
out and
bit,
come back in.
yeah. Well, I don't know.
Can you hear me
Actually,
okay?
it's gotten a bit better. But it was buffering for a moment there. Yeah,
Okay,
let's
cool.
see how it goes.
It's okay. We can take it step by step. Chase says stoplight. Great to see you, Joe. Yes. Don't text and drive, but also, I guess it's safer to stoplight, right?
Yeah.
All right. And we'll wait for JJ to come in. Again, he's just running a little bit late today. But as usual, our first thing I like to do after our neighborhood check-in is talk about the poll on the Twitter. And I have this new fancy segment video for the poll results. I wanted to share it real quick. I have a lot of fun with those videos, in case you haven't noticed. So our results,
They're very
for the
jazzy, aren't they? Very vibrant. Spitting.
I try. Well, I mean, there's a certain energy we all need to have here. So I try to keep it up there. All right. And with that said, let's go ahead and talk about our poll results. Joe, did you vote in the poll for our neighborhood priest this week? Can you hear me okay, Joe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And who did you vote for in the poll?
That's a good question. It was probably the priest one. It was probably Goose, I think.
Goose? Yeah, he was in the first one. I can pull it up.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I think someone commented this, but like the thought of Goose in like a little like priest suit and the little collar thing, it was just too adorable to.
Yeah, that's true. I really liked that y'all in the neighborhood recommended like characters from Saga and stuff. That was really cool to see some other suggestions there. And it looks like in the second poll. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Joe. I didn't mean to hide your face.
No, I was just gonna say it's like fun to start to branch out like beyond the big twos, more like out there characters that maybe some people haven't heard of, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the first poll, actually, so there were two. So this was the second one. So there was Raven from Teen Titans, and then there was Lion Cat from Saga, Moon Knight, and Azrael from DC. And then this one, Lion Cat from Saga took it, which I was actually really excited and nicely surprised to see because I would have never picked Lion Cat for a priest position.
I mean, like especially I think like Kurt Nightcrawler was in the other poll, and like I think Lion Cat even beat out him, which was surprising.
Yeah, so Lion Cat had 30.4%, and then here for Neighborhood Priest, there was Hellboy, Daredevil, Goose from Saga, and Kurt. And this one was really fun to watch because it went back and forth for who had the highest between all of these. But Daredevil came in, I think, within the last few hours. Daredevil snuck in and took it even from my boy, which, to be fair, I don't want my boy to be a priest anymore, so I'm not really that upset about it.
The Daredevil fans had to come out there in the final moments and push him over the.
They did. What's up, Nico? I'm glad Nico got to join the chat today. I know he's always busy, usually on Sundays and such. So the person who won this poll surprised me. So out of the two polls, we took the highest percentage and just that was the winner. So Daredevil had 34.6% and Lion Cat had 30, while Kurt had 30.8. So Daredevil is the neighborhood priest, which is hilarious to me because I know last week we talked about just the mere idea of him being a priest and we're all like, but he needs the priest.
That sounds appropriate. That sounds interesting. Like, imagine just like Zdarsky's next arc on Daredevil, and it's just that.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Matt, the second he's all jumping around doing things, the second Elektra comes in, he's broken. Like, what's he supposed to do?
Yeah. So it's interesting.
It is. I think this is going to be a very interesting addition to our neighborhood. And we actually, I hope he's ready because we got JJ Hodges. He just jumped in. So as long as he's ready, I'm going to bring him in. He is the host of the podcast for Comic Junkies. This is my good friend, JJ. What's up?
Hello.
How's it going with
you? Oh, it's going, man. You know, the world is falling apart around us, but we have each other, so that's good.
I'll say that's true. It's very true. I'm glad you came in, even if it's late. Like, you know, we're taking attendance and we just had blank spots for JJ. So we saved your seat. We saved you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Sorry for being a little late.
No, we're happy to have you. JJ, Joe, JJ. I don't know if you guys have talked.
Hey.
Now you have.
I don't believe we have, but it's nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, it is. I think after it got announced, I think we sort of gave each other a follow, and so it's good to just build up those connections on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and so JJ,
space.
What are your thoughts, JJ, on our poll winner? Because as of today, our neighborhood priest is Daredevil. What are your thoughts on this?
Ooh, as there's a good friend of mine and I we actually did an episode about Daredevil, talking about the TV show and the comics, and because we all grew up Catholic, and man, I don't know. So I feel a kinship with Daredevil that he's somebody who needs a priest, but probably shouldn't be a priest.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were
Yeah.
talking about. Like, bless his heart, he tries his best, but he's got a lot to work through.
Yeah, he's he literally dresses up as the devil, you know. So there's some there's his demons are right there on his sleeve. So
There's a lot of issues there to unpack, I think.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, the poor thing. Well, maybe that's representative of our neighborhood. Maybe we all just have issues we need to work through together.
Yeah, and you know it's tough with because I think that there's a stigma. There's less of a stigma with like mental health than there used to be, but I think that there's still enough of it that we all feel like we need to talk to somebody, but don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that makes any sort of sense, any nonsense to any of you.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, even with just Matt's character as Daredevil, like how often do we see the mental illness approach taken instead of simply, only focusing on, how he's, raised and practiced, Catholic for so long, which is valid and very important. But
Sure.
yeah, I never see that lens taken with Daredevil.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's interesting. I don't know about other runs because I haven't really read much of them, but with the recent run, he spends so much time like out of the costume, and like it's not just like a superhero. Like it's very like introspective, and it's an interesting run.
That's
the art is just
well, that's the interesting thing I think about if you talk Marvel versus DC, and I remember saying this years and years ago to Brian Michael Bendis when I met him at New York Comic Con, that DC are superheroes trying to be people, whereas Marvel is people trying to be superheroes, and it's very, very different when you think about it, and it's really interesting to see how each writer does that. So you're talking about him being out of the costume. It's like, well, yeah, because we're not Daredevil isn't nearly as interesting as Matt Murdock, and I think that the best writers have always done that in their stories, like Bendis in particular, and Zdarsky, of course. But so it'll be interesting to see how Zdarsky does Batman, because Batman is a much more interesting character than Bruce Wayne. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a really good point. I didn't think about that. And with Zdarsky's run, it's interesting because I definitely caught on the latter end of his run with Daredevil. But it seems like Zdarsky has actually focused so much on Elektra as a character, like Elektra Natchios as a person, far more than Matt Murdock as a person. Even though yes, there are heavy themes throughout that do kind of focus on Matt. It's all been going back to Elektra as of late, which I think is both cool to see, and it's also like, but when are you going to examine Matt? Like properly examine Matt?
Yeah. And that's, like Kevin Smith's run back in the day is really great. Because Kevin Smith grew up Catholic, so he could add that inner turmoil. I know words. It's fine. He could put that into the story, even though it's like, wildly exaggerated because it's comic books and it's fun, but it's still very dark and interesting, for us as the readers.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what did you guys think of the other nominees on this poll? So like for one section, there was Raven from Teen Titans, there was Lion Cat from Saga, Moon Knight, and Azrael from DC. And we've got Eric here who commented, trying to do confession with Lion Cat would be interesting. Have you both read Saga, and do you both know Lion Cat?
I've not read Saga. I'm sorry.
It's very good.
It's shockingly good because I hadn't read for the longest time and blew it off and finally did. So Lion Cat's a character where the second you lie, like if you say any kind of lie, no matter how big or small in front of him, he immediately says lying. He calls you out immediately, so you can't lie in front of him.
It's fun. I can't remember like whereabouts in the story, but there's this great scene where like Will has to do a deal or something, and he just tells Lion Cat to like stay there, stay on the ship, so she can't like expose him if he's like bluffing or anything. It's a fun plot device.
Interesting.
For a character to
Huh.
have.
Okay, I dig that. I dig that. Yeah, I mean, I've been meaning to get into it. It's just,
It's a lot.
yeah, it is. And
It's an emotional ride.
Is it? Okay. Yeah, there's. I mean, we're spoiled with content these days, anyway. So, it's
too much to read.
Too much to read, too much to watch. And then rewatch. I mean, it's.
It is, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
If you do get to it, debatably after how they ended the last arc before this one, because I'm still upset about it, but it's fine. At the end of the day, I don't think our neighborhood priest Daredevil could handle a confessional with Lion Cat, because he just immediately call him out on everything. I don't need Elektra lying. I'm not upset lying.
Yeah. Yep. No, I from what you're describing, I can see that.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. Well, that was our poll this week, guys. If anybody watching, listening, in live chat or anything, if you guys have suggestions for what you'd like to see on the poll next week, or this Monday, tomorrow, let us know, and we'll see if we can make it happen for you. But with that said, we're talking Pride this week, all this awesome stuff, and I wanted to talk just a little bit about what some of your guys' favorite LGBTQ characters and stories are. So I figured we could start with characters, because that's kind of easier. JJ, what are some of your favorite LGBTQ characters in comics?
I love John Kent. I think like Tom Taylor can kind of do no wrong in my mind. And I think what he did two things with Superman that I think are that could have, I don't know how to put it, so I'm just going to say it. So,
Go for it.
So there's the evil Superman trope that's like, that's a tired trope. Nobody wants, you talk to anybody and they'll say, tired of evil Superman. And I say, I agree with that, but Injustice evil Superman is the best. He's that's top tier for me. And the other thing he did great with Superman was, I thought this, Bendis aging up John Kent, I didn't like, and I thought it was an interesting enough story, but I don't think it was executed very well in my mind. But but Tom Taylor took it to the next level and said, okay, well, if he's aged up, then he's just, instead of being Superboy, he's going to be Superman, and he's going to be bisexual. And as soon as they announced that, I said, that's amazing, because it's a new character. You can do whatever you want with him, and that's perfect. Plus, so now that he's aged up and there's a new angle on him, I think that's great. Also, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah, I know a lot of people that were upset when they aged him up originally, and now people are slowly adapting to it because Taylor's done such a good job with creating John's basically essentially new character with aging him up, right? I will say, as a Supergirl fan, I'm kind of frustrated that DC will let Jonathan get aged up and called Superman, but God forbid you let Kara Zor-El age, but she's still Supergirl. Like,
right.
This doesn't make sense, guys. Like, clearly you've proven it's okay to do this. So,
I'm with you on
it's
that
weird.
one. But I also love Dreamer.
Yes.
Like I'm absolutely in love with Nicole Maines. So, and I thought a lot about Nicole Maines, where and I credit her a lot with my, being comfortable with transgender people, because I was not for the longest time, and I didn't because I didn't understand it. I was like, this just doesn't make any sense to me. And I've talked about this on my show too. So this isn't like breaking news or anything. But throughout that season, season 4 of Supergirl, I was like, I'm starting. I get it now. This makes sense to me, and it boils down to it's none of my business how you want to live your life anyway. But at the same time, it's like, but isn't it great that we have people that are accepting their own truth, and the truth, and the fact is, it's like that's her truth, that belongs to her. So it doesn't matter what you say or I say. It doesn't change the fact that she has her own truth that she's living, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, I adore Dreamer, and I'm very excited that so she's going to appear in Superman Son of Kal-El. That'll be her first appearance, like official full appearance with DC Comics, and then she's getting her own graphic novel that Nicole Maines is writing. So I'm super excited that DC didn't just end her character with the show. I'm glad they're continuing it, and they have Nicole Maines on board, and she wants to continue writing. I think that's freaking awesome.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate you, being willing to share your experience and how it was hard for you at first to kind of understand what's going on, and you were uncomfortable, and now you have grown and you're like, and you've seen stuff and you're like, okay, like it's chill. It's cool to hear that, because a lot of people are afraid to share that at one point it made them uncomfortable. And unfortunately, being uncomfortable is part of the experience a lot of times of, either going through things like this yourself, right, or watching someone else get through it. So thank you for sharing that. That's really good to hear.
Yeah, of course.
And Joe, who are some of your favorite LGBTQ characters? I think you have a Hulkling shirt on. Who's that guy?
Yes. Yeah, so of course, Wiccan and Hulkling, who originally appeared as part of the Young Avengers, like a couple decades ago. And so they've sort of appeared in like bits and pieces over the years. And then a couple of years ago, when they got married in the Empire event, joined the Guardians of the Galaxy, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, just like gay kings of space. I mean, it just on paper sounds like a fun idea, and they just like in recent years, whenever they've just been seen together, they just always seem like adorable. And it was originally sort of around like WandaVision when like Billy and Tommy showed up there.
Yeah.
And then it sort of just basically it basically got me on like a Young Avengers kick for like a few months, and then like everything else in my reading list was like completely sidelined for like a solid few months. And so that was fun. I just like basically read through everything they appeared in, was just
yeah, it's fun with the Young Avengers, especially because like basically, I mean, you have to figure out which ones are straight there, because so many of them are in the community. You're like, okay, so which one of you is straight now? Like, is there one? It's a lot of fun.
Well, like, especially in the volume 2, the 2013 run by Gillen and McKelvey, when it's basically like all of them are basically like some form of, and it just ends up being like, there's the whole thing with like the Justice League queer over at DC, but like Young Avengers at one point almost accidentally ended up doing that several years earlier.
Yeah, I think the Marvel did a really good job with Young Avengers back in the past, and I'm looking forward to when they're going to bring them back together. And of course, I'm sure we're waiting on the MCU because they're in the process of doing it. So once the MCU decides to officially do it, we'll probably get those comics again. So,
like America Chavez from the Doctor Strange movie. So it'll be cool to see her get more exposure.
Yeah, that was fun to see, and hopefully they sort of because sort of like with the MCU, it can be very I don't know what the right word is, but sometimes it's a bit restrained.
It's kind of a boys' club.
Yeah, with MCU, absolutely.
I think their first gay character was one of the Russo brothers in Endgame. So 20-something movies into the thing.
Yeah, they hyped that up so much, and we were all just like, so you want us to be excited about trash. You fed us trash, and you want us to be excited that you at least fed us something. Like,
although, yeah, to be fair, I think it was like in Eternals. I don't know if you saw Eternals. I think there was
yes,
that was, but
yeah,
but like still, that's like not very. When you have to like scramble for those crumbs, it can be.
Eternals did it well, I thought, but definitely came after Endgame and all that. And the unfortunate thing with it is that, again, it was done with characters who aren't like huge to a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like, it's different. It's one thing when you have Fastos, who not a lot of people know or whatever, you know, have a husband and a child, which is wonderful. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. I had no issue with that representation. It was great. But it's a whole other thing if, like, they made a character like, for example, Kate Bishop, canonly bi. You know, a lot of people would have a lot more to say about that. And that doesn't mean that we shouldn't, that we can't have other characters that aren't just the big names be, you know, LGBTQ. Absolutely not. But it does matter when you have big representation. That's why, like, with Jonathan Kent, the title, the headline that went everywhere when that was announced was Superman is bi. And people lost their shit. They're like, Superman? What? My guy? No. Like, but it meant something.
Well, it's like what's like some people say, where like, oh, well, I can like sort of create new characters that which like it's like a whole other argument, but like one of the aspects of that is that it just unfortunately just doesn't have the same sort of impact as like a well-known character. Like I mean, you had like Tim Drake a few months earlier before Superman, and that was like a big. It just
It's funny to me because, you know, when people get upset about like, oh, this character is, you know, is bi or gay or whatever now, and you just kind of want to be like, well, I've got some bad news for you, man. Like, there's people you know in real life that are in the closet. So so if you're not accepting a fictional character being homosexual, then I don't know how to break it to you, but you might know somebody that's in the closet and is now afraid to come out of the closet because they're seeing you get upset about, you know, a character, a person that doesn't even exist.
It's always like, oh, they've suddenly made them like whatever, and which is like almost part of the definition of coming out. Like that's like literally like the part of the idea. But then about the indie side, there are some indie books that just like do it really well. Like you have Wind from Boom
and
Studios
that's by
Tiny and
Yep.
And like sort of going back to Saga, like the Upshur and Doff, the reporters.
Yep.
Who sort of have like a bit of a role in the first 54 issues or something. And that's really interesting.
Saga, I really like how there's so many things that are done in Saga that are just naturally done. Like, you don't overthink it. So, like, when you see those two reporters and the fact that they're a couple and they're gay, it's not a big deal at all. It's not a big deal in the story. It's not a big deal. It just is. And there's other moments in the story as well where so much is just normalized and you end up just reading it, and again, it just feels like today. Like, you just meet somebody that, you know, whatever identity they use or label or whatever, you're like, okay, like, cool, let's keep going. I got to figure out what happens, you know? It's very well done. So I'm impressed as well by how naturally Vaughn did that.
I think a lot of the time it's like a tough balance between making it like impactful, but then sort of not trying to make it like too big a deal, because like you want to sort of normalize it and be like, this isn't like some like big like thing. This should be normal. But then he also needs to like actually it does need to make an impact. Like with the John Kent thing, it's not actually like a big part of the issue. Like the issue that was hyped up, it's just like a few pages towards the end. But of course, for marketing purposes, it was like completely blown up. So yeah, it's an interesting balance, honestly.
Yeah, it is. And it's interesting because so we've talked a lot of DC characters. Um, we haven't talked a lot of Marvel characters other than, the Young Avengers, which is interesting to
Mm.
me because I think because there are quite a few LGBTQ characters in Marvel as well. But they're not as I don't know, I want to say they're not as marketed, if that makes any sense. Like it's just not there. Or there are characters that are heavily queer coded but are actually written to
Mm.
be, LGBTQ, such as Kate Pride, Shadowcat from the X-Men. It's
Mm.
like we all
Yeah.
know she's not just straight. It's just not a thing. But they refuse to write it, like to actually put it in panel
Yeah.
other than,
Mhm.
oh look, I'm gonna kiss a tattoo girl. Okay, bye, and then nothing's ever dealt with.
Right. Well, I mean
Uh,
that's probably that might be Disney slightly being
it could.
yeah, and I don't know. I don't work there. I don't know what it's like. But it is a shame because you have people that that the Marvel movies and Disney Plus shows are there's no way around it. They're the most popular things in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason that a Doctor Strange movie made almost $1 billion, which before the first movie came out, you could have, if you had told me that in like 2014, I would have told you you're crazy.
Yeah.
Like there's no way a Doctor Strange
Yeah.
movie would make that much money, but here we are.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting too, because even with DC, where a lot of people will often praise DC for representation versus Marvel, which I think is ridiculous, praising one company over the other. But what's interesting is that they have a lot of big characters that are queer, but they don't embrace. Like the biggest one I can think of is Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is bi. It's been
Mhm.
on page. It is
Mm.
canon. Like that
Yeah.
is not just coding. It's been done. And people still refuse to acknowledge that. Like, I don't get it. Why? How can people not acknowledge what's literally been canonized?
Right. Well, especially when you have Gal Gadot and Linda Carter openly praising it, and
Mhm.
especially Linda Carter, this past
Yeah.
past few days, like just straight up, slamming the homophobes, which I was like
Yeah.
on Twitter, which I loved seeing, and it's just like, well, this isn't, you know, I don't know. It doesn't take anything away from these characters if they come out in whatever way, shape, or form that they are. And it's strange to me that being being straight has to be part of their identity,
Right.
but it's like if you change it to Wonder Woman's bi, and then it turns into this gigantic thing. It's like I don't understand. Like that doesn't it doesn't mean that she didn't go through all these fights and didn't be part of the Justice League and be best friends with Superman and Batman. None of that changes, and even
Right.
the stories you've read don't change. The only thing it doesn't do anything but add something to the character. And if you don't like it, then were you
Find something else.
well,
It's
not only that,
fine.
but were you even liking the character to begin with? Like you only
Point.
liked her because she was straight? Like that's a strange thing to say,
Well, and it's ironic because a lot of criticisms I hear with characters either being revealed as having a different sexuality than straight or a different gender than what they were born with, being cisgender or whatever. A common complaint is, well, like that's all they are now. They're only bi. And it's like, I'm sorry, you're telling me that you only saw them as straight. You're telling me that was an identity. Now you're saying them having another identity is a problem. You put that label onto them yourself. Like,
Hmm.
how
Mm.
is it wrong that now this is the actual identity for them and they're bracing out however they choose? Like that
Right.
makes no sense.
Plus, like
Yeah.
it's like I said earlier. It's like you're saying this about a fictional character. Like, what if you have somebody in your life, like your best friend, your sister, your brother, or whatever, that is feeling a certain way, and now you're walking around the house screaming about how Wonder Woman's bi and that's not okay, and now they're not okay.
Yeah.
Like you're like people don't understand that your words hurt, like they hurt people, and ultimately you're hurting yourself by just being a dick about it.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true. Joe, were you going to say something?
No, I was just, yeah, it's it's a very interesting discussion. I think also, especially, I think some those sorts of people sometimes give the companies more credit than they deserve.
Mhm.
In terms of like sometimes it's you hear talk that it's all like some big like gay conspiracy where like the higher ups at Marvel and DC are trying to like make every character gay just to like increase sales and
Mm-hmm.
and it's like you can pick so many different parts of that which are ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's just the idea that like you almost wish that some of the higher ups actually like cared about that sort of thing more when like most of the time they just don't, and like lots of these ideas like come from the writers. I just remember like hearing about with John Ken and Tim Drake where they just both came from the writers, like and just like much more like smaller scale, like bottom up rather than it's something but in some like mandate, and I don't know, it's just interesting that sort of
Yeah, it
viewpoint.
absolutely is. And I think it's fine when people are like, but they're just wanting to make everybody gay. Okay, if they want to, they would. Like,
Mhm.
Disney has billions of dollars, but they still care about your idiotic opinions, Karen. Like, come
Yeah.
on. Like, if they were gonna, they would do it because they could do what they want. They basically own half of America. Like, come on.
Yep.
So yeah, no, I think that's a really good point. I wanted to point out a character Eric in the chat pointed out a while ago in this discussion, Batwoman. So Batwoman's an interesting character because she is actually a straight up part of the Bat family. She is a hella lesbian, and yet I hear nobody talking about her. And we are not talking about the CW show, guys, because we just
Oh, well, then
first
I'm out of here. I can't.
but like in all seriousness, like she's she's a major part of the Bat fam. She has the Bat name and her her name Batwoman, and yet I never hear anything about her. Like, I mean, not even people complaining that she's a lesbian, which I guess is a good thing. But like there's gay in the Bat fam, so like why can't other characters, not only Tim Drake, which is great to see, but even other characters like not be straight? Like, I don't see the issue.
Well, the interesting thing is I think, I don't know, like Batwoman kind of had an advantage. I was thinking about this while Joe was talking about the higher ups not caring as much, because I 100% agree with you. You're totally right about that. But it like Batwoman had kind of an advantage being a character that came in around like 2005 or 6ish, when like social media and wasn't really a thing back then.
That's true.
So it's like, so here's a lesbian character, and people were just sort of like, oh, okay. And but if there were people who were angry about it, they didn't have a platform to go on and scream about it.
That's a good point.
So that she had kind of an advantage that these characters now don't have, where unfortunately it's a small group of people, maybe not that small, but still, that are unfortunately they're just very loud and annoying.
Yeah.
And it's hard to block them out sometimes. So when Tim Drake comes out, or Alan Scott comes out, or whatever, it changes the discussion from like, oh, they're ruining my favorite character, versus like, oh, this was always a part of the character, like that was always a part of Batwoman. But it's also, but when these characters change, it's like, I don't know, I've changed. I have a kid that changed me, so there's things you go through in your life that change you, whether it's, coming out, or having, learning the truth about yourself, or whatever. It's not uncommon, but it's also like, at the end of the day, again, I go back to these people aren't real. So if you're, thank you, Nico. So if you're getting upset about this stuff, it's like you're hurting yourself, because it's like, if that bothers you that much, then go away, and find something else, and no one's gonna miss you,
No, it's true. There's There's this person on TikTok. I can't remember who it is. I can never remember TikTok usernames, but they do this thing where they'll like say something like that. They'll be like, "Oh, so you don't want to live in a world where gay people exist? Go die." Like, okay, like that's fine. Like, your choice. Go for it. And I crack up every time I see a video they do like that, where it's like, "Oh, you can't accept this little thing. Okay, bye." Like, yeah, like you said. So I agree with Nika. You said that incredibly well, and it's very true. And I want to point out Chase's comment here. While reading New 52, he says he really thought Batwoman and Renee Montoya were going to be a huge part of DC. And that's actually a really good point, because putting those two together at the time they were, that's fucking huge. And it just disappeared. Like, what? How they could be a what you call a heritage couple by now, you know, with you know, which is like Clark and Lois are a heritage couple. Who else is a heritage couple? There's others.
Like Peter and Mary Jane.
Yeah, Reed Richards and Sue. Yeah, so these heritage couples, and Renee and Batwoman could have easily become one, and somehow it just didn't. And I love the point you made about social media. That's a great point. Like, social media has both given a platform to a lot of us that are accepting of LGBTQ and are LGBTQ and such, but it's also given a major platform to people that want to spout off hate and to share that with people. And it's definitely it's a give and take and a love-hate relationship. Joe, did you have any more thoughts on it?
Yeah, I was just what you said on it made me think of when I was doing my Wiccan Hulk thing read through. I managed to get the original run of Young Avengers in like single issues. Obviously, the first issue I had to pay a bit more for, but the rest of them weren't too bad. And it was so interesting because with like the letters pages, it's so interesting going through like old letters pages, whether that's from like or whatever time period that's from, and like you'll always see the same sorts of people that are now like just moved on to the Twitter or the internet, like. In like the first like as the issues of Young Avengers developed, there were people writing and like speculating like, oh, a Wiccan and Hulk couple, because like it wasn't revealed straight away. He had the Heinberg, he had to sort of like tease it, and then like people are like against, people writing and against it, and then there was some like at one point someone replied to a letter from the previous month like arguing, and it was almost as entertaining as the book itself by a certain point. It was just interesting to like hear that like discussion like through a different platform.
Right.
It was like it's all the same stuff as we would hear nowadays. It's just.
And isn't Alan Heinberg, is he bisexual or is he gay?
I want to say he's in the community, but I can't be specific. I can't remember specifically.
Okay.
I can't. I don't know off the top of my head, but that sounds. There's something.
I do want to point out that he is one of the people that wrote the first Wonder Woman movie. So if he likes that one better than the second one, he wrote the first one. Like some gays know what they're doing or something. Anyways, I just love that fun fact. It made me very happy when after the second Wonder Woman came out, I checked. I was like, okay, so who wrote this one? And I saw who wrote it. I was like, okay, but who did the first one? I was like, oh.
Yep.
Like, that's interesting there. But yeah, we end up talking a lot more about just LGBTQ comics and stuff than I originally planned. Is there before we move on to the game, is there anything you guys wanted to add to wrap up the discussion or anything? Because this has been awesome.
I don't think so. I'm at the end of the day, like the Pride comic that came out last year, the DC one, I didn't read the Marvel one. But I fell in love with it. I was like, this is wonderful storytelling. And it's, and again, I'll never ever understand the hate, because if it was a comic about a bunch of straight characters told in a similar way, it would have been just as good. And it's so, and again, I never understand the hate. I never understand the don't ask, don't tell of it. Because it's just, I have like the mother of my child is bisexual. When I told her Batwoman's story, she thought I made it up. She was like, she was, oh, that's really cool. I was like, yeah. And then and then she's like, hey, I was looking up the character you're talking about, and like, wow, like she's like, I thought you made it up. That's part of the comics and everything. I was like, yeah, you know, the whole don't ask, don't tell, like got her in trouble. And
that's
it's incredible. But then that was written by a straight man, you know, who same with like Tom Taylor, you know, some of these people just they get it, and because it's, you know, it's a big part of the story, but it's not the story, if that makes any sense.
Well, you're just telling the story of humans and their emotions and what they're going through at the end of the day, right? It's just, if you can write a good story with good characters, then it shouldn't matter what their sexuality is, right? I mean, yes, it matters to have, you know, gay people writing gay stories and such, and all that does matter too. But at the end of the day, if you just have good writers telling great stories, it can be done authentically, you know, especially if they do their job and they can talk to other people that may be in the community if they aren't and stuff.
Well, it's like, and it doesn't bother people in 19, you know, what am I thinking? 76 with the original Star Trek. It didn't bother people. Captain Kirk, white man, sleeping with green people.
True.
So, but you know, actual people is different. I don't know. It's like that's isn't that technically bestiality? That's weird, you know. But
it's an alien. It's fine, guys. But
it's like, you know,
to that, I'd be like, Superman's an alien. Why is it not fine for him?
Yeah, like he's sleeping with Lois Lane, you know.
There you go.
Yeah, I think it's telling when some people sort of pretend that it's about all romance, like, oh, they're just sort of like, oh, like, why do we have to, and like that's like a whole like separate like valid like opinion. But then when they sort of try to argue that against like any sort of like LGBTQ romance, and then but they're like perfectly fine with just like as you say, like straight normal couples, obviously not normal, but like heteronormative,
right?
And then it's just sort of very telling about like that sort of idea of heteronormativity, and to the word, but use a
Yeah, it's just you can't win no matter how much you try. Otherwise, you always have a complaint. But I am very excited for DC Pride. It's coming out this Tuesday. In case those of you listening and such don't know, it will be out this Tuesday. It's got a lot of great stories in there. One of my favorites is the one about Jo Mulligan, who is a Green Lantern. She's bisexual. She has a phenomenal story in there, and there's so many other good stories. So if you, for some reason, didn't know it was coming out this week or did not plan on getting it, go get it, coward. Please go get it. Even if it's digital, it's very good. If you enjoyed last year's, you will very much enjoy it this year. I think we should play our game before we get out of here. You guys want to play a game before we get going?
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes. Okay. I'm very excited about this game because it is another era of me and my ridiculousness. So, in case you guys don't know, in the past, we have played a game called Kiss or Punch on here before. And so I did some tweaking to it and I made a Pride edition of it. So if you guys notice my little hints on Twitter the other day, let me get this running. It was behaving before, it's not right now. But if you notice on Twitter, I asked who you guys would like to punch. So I used a couple of them in here, but basically the way we're gonna play this is I'm gonna show a character. It's very simple, and you're gonna decide whether you would kiss or punch them. If you don't want to do either one of those, you can make up your own rule. It's fine. I'm not gonna force you to do anything, but I think this is gonna be fun. I can't wait to hear your guys' opinions on these characters. Any questions on how it works?
Nope. Pretty straightforward.
Yes, Eric said pick up Pride. Awesome. Yes, pick it up, Eric. It's great. All right. So, number one, we're going to start off easy. Constantine, John Constantine. He is a mess. The women love him. The men love him, but he is a wreck. Would you rather kiss or punch him?
Punch.
That's valid. He probably deserves it.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like this is one of those cases where you could conceivably say both. Like
that's valid.
Yeah.
He may be he may be irritating, but he's not like unattractive. You know, like
You know, he may have ruined my
I'm
life,
just
but
saying.
it's fine. He's not unattractive.
Yeah, I got a few of those. So
I think we all do. I said kiss, even though I know he's a wreck, and I probably want to deck him myself. Why not? If I'm just kissing him, I can leave, right? I can leave.
True.
But punching him is so valid because God, Constantine, get together. Okay. Harley and Ivy, a twofer. Kiss or punch?
Ooh, kiss for sure.
Same for me.
I mean, I feel outnumbered here. It would be too dangerous to punch them. I'm not getting into that fight. I mean, I mean Ivy alone, but then like Harley in the mix as well. It's not gonna last long.
No, and you know what? You make a great point about Ivy. So those of you that don't know how powerful of a villain Ivy is, or you're kind of underwhelmed by her as a villain, get Poison Ivy #1. That's also coming out this Tuesday, I believe. It's fucking brutal. Like there's a lot of horror elements to it, body horror. It's phenomenal, but also she is fucking terrifying. So I'm with you, Joe. Like, don't piss Ivy off.
Well, that Tom King's run of Batman when she took over the Justice League was pretty damn terrifying, and I, and she almost killed Batman during it too.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. But yeah, that was something.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you all know what I said. I'm gay, so look, I'll be overwhelmed. It's okay. Don't worry about me. I'll just die happy, I guess. This is Guy Gardner. Would you kiss or punch this guy with whatever's on his head?
Punch.
Yeah, punch.
Yep.
What else can you? He does.
He looks so punchable. I mean,
Yeah.
this belongs there on his face. I'm with you guys. So far, we're having really good taste, guys. This is working out very well. All right. So, Deadpool, kiss or punch? And he's saying in this picture here, you just killed a nice deranged chick from the juice bar that I was going to score with someday, maybe. So he's doing great, I guess.
I can't not hear Ryan Reynolds from now on. So I'm still going to go with kiss because
yeah.
goddamn, if Ryan Reynolds isn't the most beautiful man.
And, like,
right.
Not after he becomes Deadpool, not after he becomes how scarred he gets.
I mean, whatever. It's
listen,
it's what's on the inside, man.
Did you watch the first Deadpool movie and the woman he had? Listen, I don't know how he got her, but like,
yeah. Oh gosh, what was I gonna say?
I'll say while you're thinking, Cole said he wants to punch Deadpool, and Eric said kiss and punch. That's also incredibly valid with him.
Okay. So yeah, the another actor who's played Deadpool, as I think it was on Ultimate Spider-Man, was Will Friedle. So still kiss because Will Friedle is a good-looking man.
Look, God help me. Why not? Why not? I guess I just like the messes today. Not? It's fine. Kate Pride, kiss or punch?
Kiss.
100%. I'm on the same boat easily.
Like, I don't blame you. Like, honestly.
Listen, she has both the energy of being bi, but also the energy of a straight girl that would ruin my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So either way, I'm screwed. I can't win.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Either way, we're not punching her, and I put lots of emphasis.
That's a lot of kisses.
I put a lot of emphasis in this one.
I don't want Lockheed to be watching me the whole time though. Like,
I was just thinking the same thing.
Those eyes bearing into you.
Yeah, it's like that's why I hesitated because I was like, I can't not look at the dragon. Like,
look, babe, I'm all for you having a dragon of some sort, but not Lockheed. He's got to get out of the bedroom. Like, I love him, but he's got to go.
Yeah.
Mr. Freeze, we're gonna switch it up a bit. Would you kiss or punch Mr. Freeze?
Specifically, if we're going with this version of Mr. Freeze from the animated series, punch. Like, Come on, man. There's better ways to deal with your trauma. Like you don't have to kill everybody.
It would be cold. Wouldn't like even if.
Yeah, it'd be that scene from A Christmas Story, right? With the tongue on the pole.
Oh, dear.
So, I might surprise you guys here, but I think he deserves love. Okay, Mr. Freeze is a misunderstood villain. All right, guys, he's doing the
Maybe.
best he can.
But not from me.
I really liked the twist with his character in season 2 of Harley Quinn.
Yes.
That that he actually wasn't like Harley thought he was this monster and he wasn't.
Yeah.
I thought that was such a good story. And Alfred Molina, it can also do no wrong in my mind. So
yeah, he's one of my favorite Batman villains. I wish he got a little more attention, was written a bit better in other stories. There's a couple though. All right. I believe this is Tim Drake Robin, right? I mix up my Robins here. I think that's Tim. Would you kiss or punch him?
100% kiss. Like, why not?
Like yeah. Probably maybe the easiest one yet.
Yeah. Like hopefully some of his genius will, through osmosis come into me. So I need to make better financial decisions. Or maybe, he'll just give me some money. That'd be cool too.
That's valid. Well, see, I don't really have strong feelings in Tim Drake, so I just went with whatever Joe said. So I guess I have to kiss him now. Thank you, Joe.
Amazing.
Thank you for the help, buddy.
Twist. I like it.
Right? Okay, so JJ, you won't know this guy because you haven't read Saga, but this is the Will. So you can just judge on his looks, and you can also ask us questions, and we'll tell you about his personality. This is the Will. He is bounty hunter. He's a bounty hunter. He's kind of a lovable jerk, but he has a lot of issues. Kiss or punch?
Kind of sounds like the Mandalorian. So
it's interesting.
So I'll go with kiss.
Joe, what do you think? Because you've read this.
It's sort of similar to like, he's not quite as bad as someone like Guy Gardner, but then like also going back to like the Mr. Freeze, like it's easy to say punch, but then also like he deserves the love. He needs like. he needs some like stable affection to. He needs like some comfort, like.
The poor guy does. Yeah, I said kiss then punch.
Yeah,
he's not getting punched first. That's happening after he thinks he's got it easy. He's like, everything's better now. You suck. All right, Loki. So you can pick any version. I just use a comic book picture, obviously, but you can do MCU. You can do comic book. Kiss or punch?
No matter which version, punch. I like the Loki character, but he just always just has this shit-eating grin, no matter what version.
Yeah.
And even when he has like his redeemable moments, I have a hard time buying it. Not because of Tom Hiddleston's performance or the writing or anything like that, just because of the character.
Yeah.
So no, like you get the fuck away from me.
Yeah. Eric agrees with you here, and I kind of agree. Like, don't touch me, buddy. But Joe, what do you think? I'm interested on your thoughts.
I mean, it's like what I say about Constantine. Like, I mean, Tom Hiddleston. Like, I'm not saying I wouldn't punch him, but then like, also on the other hand, it's like why would you pass that up? I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement. He needs to be punched. He needs
at least
once, at least. Okay, Storm.
Ooh, I mean, going back to like my childhood with Halle Berry, and even even the 90s television series, just the confidence that she has. I mean, that's sexy enough. So kiss and please, if there can be more, I will go for more.
JJ's volunteering as tribute.
I mean, that artwork is just like stunning. Like whenever you see her, she's just always looks good. And, I mean, yeah,
She just has to stand there. Like she just stands there, and I
just
mean,
looks badass.
Yep.
what are you supposed to do?
She
She can punch me. Like
Brilliant.
if she wants me to be a
Perfect.
punching bag, I'm available Monday through Sunday, anytime, 24, 365.
That makes me think of the one John Mulaney joke where he's like, "You can spill soup in my lap, and I'd apologize to you."
Yeah, that's
I mean, when
exactly
you look
it.
like that,
She
Yeah.
could electrocute me, and I would say, I am so sorry for getting hit by your lightning.
I didn't mean to be in the way. I will get out of the way.
I am so sorry. Did you want to hit me? Because if you didn't, it didn't happen. You didn't do anything. This one's fun. Enchantress. I don't think a lot of people remember her often. But would you kiss or punch her? I feel like it could go either way.
Oh my god. I think my answer would be your answer from Storm, just because I am a sucker for a beautiful blonde. So just it's fine if I go in for the kiss and then she punches me, I would have no regrets.
At least you shot your shot, right?
Exactly.
worth a try. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I think you just have to worry less about her punching you and more you just become her puppet. So as long as you're okay with that, I think you're in the clear.
You know what? I've done it before. I'll do it again.
Well, I think you'll love my answer because it's whatever you said. So that's exactly what's
Nice.
happening now. I really appreciate you guys' guidance on this because some of these I just don't know what to do.
Sure.
It's gonna be tough.
All right, Lobo.
Ooh.
Joe.
Yeah, it would definitely be a punch.
Mm.
Like get away from me, man. Like but then again, it would be a punch I'd probably immediately regret. So
Yeah. I know what I've said on a couple of these, but like there was a line where it's too far. Like I think sometimes
Yeah.
you just have to punch
Well,
and get the option between those.
He always takes it too far. I mean, even in the most recent DC series, Crush and Lobo, which is from his daughter's point of view, which is really cool, who is gay. They try to redeem him, and then he just does the same old shit. Like
Yep.
you can't fix this guy. So he's getting forever punched by me. I may not have hands afterwards, but it's worth it. You can get wrecked. If you don't know who this is Madeline Pryor. No, it's not Jean Grey. This is Madeline Pryor. She is technically a clone of Jean, and she is from the X-Men. She's also a villain, technically. Would you kiss or punch her?
Stunned for words.
Yeah. Clone of Jean Grey.
Yes.
Oh man.
JJ's broken over here.
Summing up that entire storyline with one facial expression.
I probably both. Probably, like Wolverine at the end of Last Stand. Just.
Oh my god!
I gotta
bring up the cursed film. The cursed film.
There's not a good movie. Well, I always said that movie is half good. There's the Cure storyline is good. The Dark Phoenix storyline is not.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think I'd go kiss and then have to punch because I don't think I could resist a kiss.
But why are you punching her?
Because she's the villain.
But what if she's misunderstood?
Then I'd have to apologize afterwards. Be like, hey, no hard feelings. This shit happens all the time in comic books.
Oh,
Look at Xavier and
JJ,
Magneto.
I'm putting you through a ringer today, JJ. I'm so sorry, but it's just a little bit fun.
Oh, yeah.
this is getting really exposing.
It is. Because I support women's rights and wrongs. So I don't care she's a villain.
There we go.
Tony Stark. Iron Man. Kiss or punch?
Not even hesitation, just
I mean, I always love this image because I think he looks like Joey Fatone.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, it would be both. It would be kiss and then punch because
Valid.
he just he's just so smarmy, but he is charming. So you gotta give him that.
Hmm.
Apparently, all it takes for you, JJ, is just a pretty face and a little bit of a smooth talker.
If you saw my dating history, so.
And Eric said he's gonna punch him
All
too.
caps.
Yes,
You
and
know it's
that's
serious.
me. He can wield this infinity punch. I hate this guy. I hate him so much. I don't care if he's pretty or has money. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Has
That's fair.
have either one of you read the original Civil War comics?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
that was my first introduction to Tony Stark,
Oof.
and that was my forever impression of him.
Yikes.
Well, I reread it before the movie, and every now and then I revisit it because I think that the story is really interesting. But
Yeah.
but also one of those instances where I think the movie did it better because in the comic, I think both Cap and Iron Man are complete like self-centered jerks, whereas in the movie, I felt like it was harder to root for one or the other because I agreed with both of them.
See, I completely disagree, but that would take an hour for me to explain why I disagree. But that's okay. We'll talk about it later. But that's
Sure.
interesting because I feel the opposite. I hate the film because it takes away all the nuances of the actual Civil War storyline. There's so much
Okay.
nuance to it, and there's so much realism to it that the movie completely stripped away. So it's interesting to hear that. So, yeah, I just don't know how you can read that and not want to punch him.
Well, I agree. Yeah, no, I
But at
do
least you
agree.
punch him after you kiss him, so that's valid. I support
Yeah.
that.
I've heard the original comic has like lots of like mischaracterizations and like it's just all a bit like out of character, and I don't. But then like I haven't read it, so I don't know how. It's just sort of something I hear about the story. I don't know how accurate it is or how true it is.
Yeah.
Or...
Yeah, it's interesting trying to compare both those versions of it for sure. Mystique, kiss or punch. I'm very excited to hear everybody's thoughts on this character because everybody has an opinion on Mystique. Everybody has a thought on her.
I'd have to go with punch. I thought about this ahead of time because I saw one of your posts and I was like, no, just kind of like Loki, but in the same way that they're both technically speaking tricksters. So no, like that scene in X-Men 2 when she pretends to be Jean Grey and goes into Logan's tent. I'm like, no, I don't. You can't. You're trying to trick me, and it's not okay. I don't like that.
Yeah, well, what's interesting with her is that if you've read enough of the comics and stuff, even just current stuff, she does it all for Destiny, who is her wife. As fucked up as that is, and as much love is not a justification for doing horrific things, that's what it is. Hi, Joe. You came back. I was worried. I was like, did Mystique get you?
It was too. I'd finally had enough. It was too much. God.
But that's valid. I mean, absolutely, Mystique needs to be punched for at least half of the things she's done. Like,
yep.
At least. Joe, what are your thoughts?
There's too many of these just to like kiss and punch. Like, I mean, if she can like transform into like any like shapeshift to like anyone you want, like,
yeah,
that's an interesting.
Yeah, I mean, what if like JJ? What if she comes up to you and she looks like Enchantress? What are you gonna do?
If I didn't know, and then she turns back into Mystique, then she's gonna get punched. It's like, no, you tried to trick me. It's not okay.
True, but what if you knew and she just stayed looking like Enchantress? What if she full disclosure said, "I am Mystique, but here I am like Enchantress"?
No, it's not the real thing. You know? It's just, it's like no, it's not.
This has some disturbing implications.
Yeah, I'm losing my metaphor here, but like, it. I don't know. because I don't want to say like vegan meatballs because vegan meatballs are actually delicious. So, but something like that.
It's
No,
true.
I
It's
see what
not
you mean.
actually Enchantress. You're absolutely right. No matter if it looks like her, if it talks like her, if it kind of breathes like her, if it's not her, it's not her.
Right. Yeah.
But listen, I'll be the crazy person
Valid.
here. I have no shame.
It's fair.
Why not? I'm going to die on this earth anyway. I might as well have fun doing it. But also, I might just be a terrible person, so it's completely fair. We've got 2 in 1 picture. We have Laura Kinney, Wolverine, or some people that aren't caught with the times might know her as X-23, and we have She-Hulk. Would you kiss or punch them? And you can do the same thing for both or something different. Doesn't matter to me.
100% kiss both. Especially at the end of the She-Hulk trailer when she picked up that guy. I would like to know what that's like. You know?
All of us want to be the guy immediately. Self-insert.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same. There's no question how this was gonna go. Like, who doesn't want to be thrown around by a strong woman? I don't know. Somebody really lame, I guess. I messed something up. Oh my god. Oh, there it is. It came back. Okay. It came back. This one was for Joe especially. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say this feels like a personal attack.
Yeah. I can't just get JJ. I have to get you too, Joe. It's only fair.
I mean, like we all know the obvious answer here.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I'm with you.
So like, but like, how does it work like logistically? Like what one after the other, and like the other one has to watch, or like
I don't know, Joe. It's your life. I mean, you would work that out. I would hope.
Just to spend like a couple of minutes studying some like ground rules.
You know, probably.
God.
Or Wiccan would just do some spell and you would see what happens. I mean, you know, sometimes you can just leave it to magic.
Yeah.
But yes, I don't think they want to kiss me, but I love them. I think they are too gay,
mood.
Which is valid.
Yes.
So I don't think they'd be interested in anything about me.
They're happy with each other. They don't need someone else coming into.
Yeah, they don't need it. They don't need a third.
Unless they want to like, unless they want to try something new.
I was saying, you see them one day on Tinder looking for their unicorn. Son of a bitch! I thought they were better than this. Thought they were.
Where's that comic? Like.
Joe, you could write it. You could write it, and I will review your comic when it comes out. I'll be more than happy to.
That'll be Pride 2023. So.
Yeah, the short story and the.
That would make Marvel Pride a lot more worth buying. I can tell you that. Like,
just for that.
Yeah, 100%. I would. Okay, our last one. Wonder Woman. Kiss or punch?
I don't think I would. I never want to punch. 100% kiss. Like, oh my god, I could die happy immediately afterwards. Like, it doesn't even have to be like a full makeout session. So just like a quick like peck, and I'd be like, I'm good.
Life has meaning. Everything makes sense. I'm sad. Take me now, God.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to punch her like that. That wouldn't end well.
No.
No, because you just end up like Batman on the ground with her foot on your head. But to be fair, some people might be into that too. So
I was gonna say, like, that's what you're into.
Yeah, but I don't. But Wonder Woman, she don't play. So if that's happening, then it's not. I'm not into it. I'm very much like I'm gonna die right now.
Yeah, and not in the fun way. Erica's right here. Diana can take me to paradise. Yes, and the best part is I'm a woman. God. I'm allowed on the island. Sorry, guys, gotta go.
Oh, that's true. Very true.
Just like say it away.
Yes. She can wreck me, and I use both the colors of kiss and punch because whatever happens, happens. I'm not responsible.
That's fair.
I'm leaving it up to her. Well, that was our game of kiss or punch. What
Good
were there
times.
any characters in particular you guys liked seeing?
Um, I think Constantine was fun to discuss
Yeah.
because I actually I didn't, and Lauren, I hope we'll still be friends after I say this, but I kind of dropped out of Legends of Tomorrow after season 4.
You have a heart attack.
No.
Fine.
But I did
Blasphemy.
but I did love his story with that character's name is escaping me. But
Asha?
no, the man that he tried to turn back time.
That was Desmond.
Yeah. So I did
that was
really
it.
I
Yeah.
did really love that story, and I totally understood Constantine's arc, but I still wanted to punch him and go, dude, you're gonna screw everything up, which of course he did.
Yeah. Yep, that's what he always does. And spoiler alert, by the time because he left the show end of season 6. Yeah, that was pretty much the end of it. Was he always screws himself over? That's his character. He can't ever be fully happy.
Well, yeah, that seems to be a common trait with a lot of especially male characters in DC.
Yeah.
But I thought that discussion was a lot of fun because I love these types of things because obviously it's 100% hypothetical, but there's you learn a lot about people throughout this. So
That's one way to put it.
It is. It's very self-revealing, but I think it's a lot of fun for people to see too. Well, yeah, guys, that's the show today. I had another game planned, but we took so much time with the discussion, which was awesome. So I figured we would just do the kiss or punch because that was a grand event anyway. If you guys want to plug yourselves, tell us where people can find you, what you do, all the cool stuff so that people can go find you on the airwebs after this or stalk you. You never know. I hope you guys are ready. We have a very dedicated and passionate neighborhood here. Joe, why don't you go ahead and plug yourself?
Yeah, just on Twitter by the same name, Joe Loves Comics. Often write stuff for the Wednesday Pool blog and occasionally do reviews for the GWW website. Yeah, just me and Lauren have our weekly roundup. We talk about our favourite books of the week. That's a lot of fun. You can check it out every week. See if you're missing anything on your pull list that you should be reading.
I was gonna say it's always fun seeing what our picks are because we'll do them separately and then put them together. And so whenever Joe and I match up, it's like, holy shit, you read that too? Like you have the same.
It's like
It's great.
Like every few weeks, every few weeks it manages to align and.
Yeah, it's awesome. JJ, you want to plug yourself? What you do, where people can find you, stalk you, do whatever. It's fine.
Well, I have 2 shows. So there's 4 Comic Junkies that you can see there.
I'll say you'll find it at some point.
There it is. It's right there. You all can read. So yeah, 4 Comic Junkies. That's where you find me on Twitter, and there's also the Spider-Man Book Club, which Lauren is going to be a guest on soon.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, so that's going to be a fun discussion, and you can follow me there at Spider-Man Books. I don't use that one as much, more just to promote the podcast. But yeah, and I'm the 4 Comic Junkies is mostly promoting the podcast and my personal stuff. So you'll see a lot of, every now and then just me getting either mad at people in the world or or excited about stuff, because for all the times we joke about, or not really a joke, but talk about how Twitter is a toxic cesspool. I still love it. I've made a lot of great friends through there. So, and now I have you guys as friends. So that's awesome.
I was gonna say, you just described the neighborhood here. Half the time we talk about things we love, and the other half of the time we're like everything sucks. But at least we have Mystique as the best neighbor in our neighborhood for some reason, I guess.
Well, maybe in your neighborhood, I don't know.
There's a balance to be had there.
That's fair.
I mean, look, at least that the neighbors did choose Nightwing and Wonder Woman as our world's finest. So at least we have them protecting the neighborhood. So we got some foundation.
Yeah. Oh, this was something I talked about on Spider-Man recently, Spider-Man Book Club. This episode will be out soon. Is that I love just talking about Nightwing for a second. The Nightwing and Spider-Man both look like are characters that can't fly, but the best artists draw them looking like they can fly. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool when people are able to capture those elements with especially more acrobatic characters. It works out really well. Well, thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate your comment.
Thanks for it's been fun.
Popping in. Glad JJ made it. Glad Joe was able to come back in even when Mystique took him for a little bit towards the end there. I'm glad she gave you back. I really appreciate it. Please tell her thank you for me.
Or this is Mystique. We've been talking to Mystique.
Twist.
Say, you son of a bitch.
The world will never know. Well, thank you to everybody that tuned in, that watched, joined the live chat, and everybody that'll check this out later. Make sure you follow the show's Twitter at the handle below at NBHD Comic Show. So you don't miss anything. You can vote in the polls and know what we're doing on the episode next week. But with that said, thanks again, guys. And we'll see you guys next time on the show.